Hello everybody, yes, how are we all doing? It is the Fredders93 here and welcome back to another edition of Football with Fredders, the weekly football chat and discussion show here on the channel. Now, as you've probably seen from the thumbnail today, we're going to be taking a look at the England squad that's about to have their first 3 World Cup qualifiers against Albania, San Marino and Poland. Although I think it may be San Marino before Albania. I'm going to take a look at the squad first, and then we're going to make some predictions for those games. Now, there has been a few notable absentees from the squad. This has mainly been due to injuries or bad form. Of players that would normally make the squads, we have 4 missing through injuries. That is the Everton goalkeeper Jordan Pickford. As a Newcastle fan, we need to mock the small arms of Jordan Pickford, obviously ex-Sunderland player. Always going to get a job in there. We are also missing Jordan Henderson and Jack Grealish from the injury squads, the England squad through injuries or from injury concerns. And we are, of course, missing Jadon Sancho of Borussia Dortmund. We'll touch on the subject of Borussia Dortmund later on when we take a look at one of the inclusions in the squad. So the battle for the place in between the sticks and goal will be between Manchester United's Dean Henderson, who has been stepping up to the play rather well in place of David De Gea at Manchester United. We'll ignore what just happened at the weekend against Leicester in the FA Cup. Sam Johnston, who from West Bromwich Albion, who's got his first call up, where despite the current season that West Brom are having, is still being one of their standout players. And then Nick Pope from Burnley, where Burnley of course are starting to pick things up a little bit and in their hopes for survival. Personally, I wouldn't really have changed any of this. I mean, obviously Sam Johnson probably wouldn't make the squad if Pickford had been available. Yeah. So in defence, we have Ben Chilwell, Connor Cody, Eric Dyer, Reece James, Harry Maguire, Tyrone Mings, Luke Shaw, John Stones, Kieran Trippier and Kyle Walker. Now, everyone's touching on the main subject with defence, which is the omission of Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think with the way that Liverpool have been playing it this season, and in particular Trent Alexander-Arnold himself in terms of his numbers with assists and things like that, not being sort of how they've been, or like what we're certainly used to with Trent Alexander-Arnold, it's not really that much of a surprise that his omission has come into place. The other big talking points in defence is the returns of Luke Shaw and John Stones to the England setup, both of whom are having very impressive seasons, in particular with John Stones, who seems to be adding games. He seems to be adding goals, and obviously more clean sheets with Manchester City to his game. Definitely sort of like a turnaround for him. And then Luke Shaw, it'll be interesting to see who starts in that left back position between him and Ben Chilwell, of course. But of course, England do of course have this thing with bringing along 3 right backs in the form of Reece James, Kieran Trippier and Kyle Walker. But I know lately that Gareth Southgate has been using Kyle Walker as more of a centre back, so I think he may just alternate between the two of Kieran Trippier and Reece James for the right back starting role. In midfield, we have Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden, Jesse Lingard, Mason Mount, Calvin Phillips, Declan Rice and James Ward-Prowse. Now, I mentioned something about Borussia Dortmund. We're surprised to see that Jude Bellingham has been given exemptions to be able to be in the England squad. Normally, if like anyone travelled from Germany to England and then would make the journey back, they would have to go through Germany's COVID regulations and having to quarantine when they come back. Jude Bellingham has been given his exemption, which may upset some of the residents in Germany. Personally, I don't think these international games should still be in the midst of going ahead in the first place, in particular as we are experiencing another wave of cases out in Europe. Obviously, the main talking point with midfield has been the return to Jesse Lingard. whatever you think of Jesse Lingard like as a person, you've got to admit the form that he's been showing since he arrived at West Ham on loan has been sensational. I think that's been sort of like a big part of West Ham's recent push for the European places, and then if it ends up sneaking them into the Champions League next season, they'll have Jesse Lingard to thank for that, where they've been playing him in sort of his more preferred number 10 position. He's really been able to help West Ham add a little bit of creativity to their side. And then, of course, you've got James Ward-Prowse in there, set-piece specialist, who we all know at Southampton. Phil Foden, sort of like one of the up-and-coming stars of English football. The same with Jude Bellingham as well. While he's not got that many goals and assists for Borussia Dortmund, his overall work rate in terms of winning the ball back and things like that, and again, things actually started with Borussia Dortmund, is something that you've got to admire from that 17-year-old. Now, up front, we've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Harry Kane, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, Raheem Sterling, and Ollie Watkins. Now, you could have made a play for Patrick Bamford here, given him the fact that he has actually scored more goals this season so far than Watkins, but according to Southgate, Bamford was pretty close. But then it's the thing of, when you look at the rest of the strikers, who do you admit? Now, whether Harry Kane's going to play all of this still remains to be seen. I think the more that England and Spurs become more reliant on Harry Kane, then is the injury frequency for him, which has already picked up in the last sort of couple of years or so, it's going to start getting worse. Which is why I'm going to make this bold statement as well. He's not going to beat Shearer's goal scoring record. I think he'll get pretty close to it, but I think his injury record is starting to increase and is starting to worsen. I reckon you'd probably go with Sterling on one wing and then Rashford on the other, perhaps, or maybe even put some Calvert-Lewin, put Calvert-Lewin there, or Saka. It really depends, but I think Kane's going to be the main focus point, given the fact that I believe he is also the England captain, of course. In terms of predictions, it should be wins in all three of those games. But remember, I said should, because this is England playing football that we're talking about. San Marino should be a comfortable win. Albania, again, should be a comfortable win. I think the biggest challenge that we're going to have will be with Poland, because they've got Wojciech Szczesny in goal, and of course they've got the man, the myth, the legend, Robert Lewandowski. So that one may be more of a draw, or maybe just about edging a win there. Those are my thoughts anyway. At least let me know in the comments, who do you think missed out on the England squad? Is this squad right, and are we going to win those games? But that is going to do it for this week of Football Threaders. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Do leave that like, subscribe if you're new, follow the social medias, follow the Twitch, and I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye bye for now.